Okay, okay. 1 2 1 2. I think I'm live now. Hopefully y'all can hear me properly. I've been trying to do this properly, but of course, always some technical difficulties. But basically, what I wanted to touch on, it's strictly crypto, and what's been going on with crypto, and also to touch a little bit about China and the condition that we live in. Because even though I'm in Hong Kong, it's part of China, and that's how everybody sees it, and that's how everybody should see it, and that's how it's gonna be for a while. But let me start off by talking about HBAR, Edera hashtag HBAR coin, right? We've noticed that that particular coin has dropped in prices, right? So if you're a day trader like myself, every now and then you see the number go high, you may buy or sell at that time. You see it go down, you may buy or sell at that time. So one of the very strategic, one of the very strategy that I use in order to trade, it's basically whenever something is going down, I'll keep buying. As it's going down, I'll keep buying it. And that strategy, of course, it's I've learned it from what's his name, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kawasaki. I hope I'm not butchering his name, but that's normal. A lot of time people butcher my name. But my point being is that I've seen him speaking on a strategy that he uses in order to buy crypto. So he was talking specifically about Bitcoin. Whenever Bitcoin goes down, he says, the best thing to do is keep buying. And so I kind of model my strategy, from that, and that works for me. So in this case right here, when we have the H bar, prior to it being celebrated for the second year, um, you know, it kind of went up. It went from less than 40 cents to 56, right? When I first got myself involved with HBAR, it was at a 25 cents, right? So that was back in March, and knowing that it was climbing up, and the second year anniversary was coming around the corner, it was only right for me to buy more. So I kept buying. I kept buying. As a matter of fact, I'm all in when it comes to HBAR. All my money's in HBAR. With that said, we've noticed that the day after, which was yesterday, I tried to go on live and speak on this issue, but it wasn't possible. So we've noticed that it went down right after the celebration, right? And then, in a situation like that, of course, people may panic. The first reaction that you have is, start panicking. What happened to my money? I thought this was gonna skyrocket to the moon, but that wasn't the case the very next day. And again, I'm saying there's nothing to worry about. Why am I saying that? Because as long as you understand where you place your money to, right, there's nothing to worry about, because then it's just a matter of it going back up, right? So if you understand cryptocurrency, starting with Bitcoin, you understand the technology is there, right? The distributed ledger technology, right? It's there to stay. Now there's other forms of it. That's where you have other coins coming along, like Ethereum, claiming to fulfill the things that Bitcoin couldn't fulfill, right? Such as speed. Ethereum is much faster than Bitcoin as far as the transactions are concerned. And now you have HBAR coming more, even faster than Ethereum, Bitcoin, and credit cards, right? So I think the order will be Bitcoin, which is at 3 transactions per second. Then you have Ethereum, which is a little faster. Then you have credit cards. I think credit cards are 10,000 transactions per second. Now you have HBAR, that's much faster. And not only the speed matters in this situation, but you also have the, you know, the you also have the, how am I trying to say this? You have the speed on one hand, and after that, you also have the fairness. There's this element of fairness where there's no room for you to cheat, double spend, and things of that nature. when it comes to security, yes, HBAR promises a higher security, but it's not so much just that it's perfect. It's so perfect that nobody can hack into it. But it's definitely something for you to, to reckon with as far as security is concerned. So it's much more secure than Bitcoin and Ethereum. But then again, when we talk about security, there's always room for people to infiltrate, right? But when we solely speaking about double spending, being fair and being secure and being fast, then H bar got next, I should say. So with that said, man, right now it's at 43, at 42. Let me double check. It's somewhere around there. Let me double check. H bar, Coin Gecko, Coin Gecko, H bar. Okay, my bad. Let me share the screen. It actually went even lower. It's at 40 now, right? So it's at 40. So we went from 56 to 40. If you do the math, that's 15 cents difference. So if you're making money for each cent, that you lost a lot of money. So there's a lot of loss there that we took for for the past 24 hours. But again, I'm saying there's nothing to fear, because as long as the technology or the coin is doing what it's supposed to be doing, it's just a matter of it again proving that it's doing what it came to do, whatever he has promised. And everything gets tested. Everything gets tested. Again, Bitcoin went through the same thing until the whole world believed that, okay, this technology makes sense. Is there a better way to make it faster? Is there another way to make it faster or more secure? Then Ethereum came, but then there was the issue of using too much electricity to accomplish some of these goals. And then that's when HBAR is coming along, because you don't need to mine it. It's not using so much electricity, and everything seems to work according to plans. But now, why isn't it up on the market? Again, um, nothing just come to the market and all of a sudden it jumps to being the number one. Or you still have to show and prove everything that you said on your roadmap. So this is where we are uh, concerning HBAR. But now I wanted to touch on the you know and before I even let go this whole issue of HBAR, I wanted to show, I guess, a small clip of what Mike Tyson has advised people to do. Whenever you engage into something that you adore, your passion, and you fully focus on it. He had an interview with Patrick David, Patrick Bet David, and Patrick Bet David had asked him what advice would he have for someone. Not all of us are boxers, so for someone else, in your career, in the path that you're on, how do you then excel and becoming the best? So I just like the answer that Mike Tyson had. So I'm gonna try to play it. Hopefully, that can resonate with everybody before I switch on to the China topic. I may touch on the SKIDDO coin, even the AKOIN coin, but only to bring it, I guess, to a comparison with the HBAR to see what situation that we in, and how should we choose which coin to invest in, and how the whole cryptocurrency world works, especially if you're day trading. If you're just gonna buy a coin to keep it in the wallet, it's different from buying a coin and expecting to make money on a daily basis. So there's techniques to that, there's strategies to use. Everyone don't have the same strategy. Other people use different strategies. I use a different one. So with that said, we gotta take heed. I'm gonna go ahead and play that Mike Tyson clip. Hold on. Let me share the screen real quick. Okay, right here.
Can
Let me
can
see.
you teach
Share the screen. Share the screen.
desire, or the desire has to come from someone? Parents, they're building their businesses, but just the mindset. Like I'm sitting here,
Okay. All right. Let me share the screen so we can take in Mike Tyson or whatever he said. I just like it. I just like the answer or the advice that he had for anybody, regardless of what whatever you do in life. I just like that. So let's take it in. All right. I hope everybody can hear it though. This is what I'm hoping for, that everybody can hear it. Otherwise, you know, it's gonna be problematic. Um, play here.
I'm thinking, hey, I want to, in a different industry, okay? I want to be the best of the best of the best. Like you became heavyweight champion, youngest ever. If I want to be the best in my sport, say this business, what tips would you give me? I want to be the best in our business, this business. This is insurance, they're building their businesses, but just the mindset of wanting to be the best. What is the mindset you can transfer to some other people?
I just find out the first guy really, really succeeded in this shit, probably 1900 or something like that. Even if you were a crook, let's go from there and go all the way there and read all the way till you get to you. Okay?
So one study is
Yeah. Study it till it gets to you. And then you realize those people are just you and funny clothes.
how do you make it? Hey, I want to, in a different industry, okay? I want to be the best of the best of the best. Like you became a heavyweight champion, youngest ever. If I want to be the best in my sport, say this business, what tips would you give? I want to be the best in our business, this business. This is insurance, they're building their businesses, but just the mindset of wanting to be the best. What is the mindset you can transfer to somebody who
I just find out the first guy really, really succeeded in this shit, probably 1900 or something like that. Even if you were a crook, let's go from there and go all the way there and read all the way till you get to you. Okay?
so one study is
Study it till it gets to you. Then you realize those people are just you in funny clothes.
okay. So one, fantastic. I gotta go study history. Everybody that came before me. What else? Though?
Then you watch it, you read everything they did, now you practice it. Now let's see if this shit really works.
Can you teach desire, or the desire has to come from somebody?
You can inspire desire, but can you teach it? I'm not going to try to teach it.
Nobody had to teach you to fire because you had it. It was within you.
Well, no, it wasn't definitely in me. You know, somebody had to bring it out, show that I deserve to have it. But I believe self-love. You know, no, I don't care how great you are, how much you succeed, without self-love, you're nothing. Self-love is discipline. And discipline is doing what you hate to do, but do it like you love it.
All right, all right. I'm gonna play this one more time, but I just wanted us to pay attention to that part where it explains how you have to look for the person that you know of who did it the best in that particular domain that you're in, and then somehow trace it to you. You know, go back and then trace it to you, and then you realize that that person, you know, he could have been a crook, but he was doing the same thing that you are doing now. It's just that at that time, maybe he was considered illegal or he was considered a criminal, but he was doing the same thing that you are doing now, and he was the best at it. So then you just have to emulate not the final result, but emulate the steps, the process that he took to get to where he was. So let me rewind that again.
It's you in funny clothes.
So like in cuss back, how did you handle the first time? You got
Good.
I don't know about that. You've lived a
Everybody
life
get
of a
everybody
lot.
and goes all the way there.
And hey, I want to, in a different industry, okay? I want to be the best of the best of the best. Like you became a heavyweight champion, youngest ever. If I want to be the best in my sport, say this business, what tips would you give me? I want to be the best in our business, this business. This is insurance, they're building their businesses. But just the mindset of wanting to be the best. What is the mindset you can transfer to somebody?
Find out the first guy really succeeded on this shit, probably 1900 or something like that. Even if he was a crook, it's just there and goes all the way there and read all the way till you get to you. Okay?
So one, study history.
Yeah, study it till it gets to you. And then you realize those people are just you in funny clothes.
Okay, so one, fantastic. I got to go study history. Everybody that came before me, what else do?
Then you watch, you read everything they did, now you practice it. Now let's see what this shit really works.
Can you teach desire, or the desire has to come from somebody?
You can inspire them. Can you teach it? And then I need to try to teach it.
All right.
Well, it wasn't definitely, I mean, if somebody had to bring it out and show that I deserve to have it. I believe.
Okay. Enough with this here. Let me see. Let me see where I was trying to go with this. Let me see where I was trying to go with this. So where I was trying to go with this, and I'm hoping that everybody got to hear it, or I can play one more time just to make sure that the audio was all right. Actually, let me do that. Let me play real quick again. Just mute one side and the other, and leave the other open. Let me see. We'll mute this. Hopefully we can hear it. Let me do this. Hopefully we can all hear it. Right here.
You remember, like,
Really well. Because
wow, on a whole different level, man. You say some stuff that you in a different industry, okay? I want to be the best of the best of the best. Like you became a heavyweight champion, youngest ever. If I want to be the best in my sport, say this business, what tips would you give me? I want to be the best in our business, this business. This is insurance, they're building their businesses.
Right.
But just the mindset of wanting to be the best. What is the mindset you can transfer to somebody being a
all right,
best?
this would find out the first guy really succeeded on this shit, probably 1900 or something like that. Even if he was a crook, let's go from there and go all the way there and read all the way till you get to you. Okay?
So one, study history.
Yeah, study it till it gets to you. And then you realize those people were just you in funny clothes.
Okay, so one, fantastic. I got to go. Can you teach desire?
Okay. That's it about the advice that Mike Tyson gave to everybody. But again, I want to touch back to crypto, HBAR, because this is where all my money is. So I'm all in on that. I'm not gonna stop talking about it. I'm gonna keep talking about HBAR, right? Nobody paying me to talk about it, but because my money is in it, I just wanted to express, to ventilate out loud. I'm thinking out loud. I'm ventilating out loud, and seeing the market go up and down. So now, if we were to look at what happened today, with HBAR, let me see here if I can. All right, HBAR. All right, let me try to share the screen over here. Share a different screen. Share this one here, so I can explain what I'm trying to say right now. Okay. Okay, let me type in HBAR. HBAR. All right, HBAR is at 40 cents, right? So we already agreed that it was at 56, now it's at 40, and that's a loss, right? But let's see what happened during the day, right? You see here, right here, that's the highest he went today, 45. But that doesn't matter because we still went from 53 or 56 to 40, and then to 45, and now back to 40, right? So today, logically, it's not one of those days that you were to expect to make money really, because then you would have to guess that this line right here, this whole line right here, like floating on 42 and 41 and 42 and 41. To me, that's a waste of time, right? But what I'm trying to say is that the same strategy that Robert Kawasaki uses, of the more your stock or your crypto is going down, the more you buy. You buy in. Why you buying in as it's going down? Because eventually it will go up, and as it's going up, you're making way much money. You making much more money that you would have made if you were doing something else, right? And how is that? You may say, oh, you might not come back up, right? Yeah, that's true. But the coins that don't come back up, those are the coins that had no substance to begin with. I have many other coins that I've bought throughout the years that never gave me anything, right? Why? Because those coins came in with some type of hype, right? And the example that I always give is the example of the electricity, right? Once the electricity was found or created, that we knew that we can use electricity to do many things, right? Now, a company can come along and say, okay, here's a light bulb, right? Here's a light bulb. This light bulb, once it's lit up, you can see clearly in your room, everywhere, the house. We can lit up the whole yard and everything of that nature. That makes sense. But as long as we didn't create a conductor, a way to conduct electricity from point A to the light bulb, that light bulb don't really have any substance, right? It's something that's very promising. It may make money on the stock exchange, the stock market, or if it was a crypto, it would make money, right? Trading that. The idea of a light bulb. Here's the light bulb, but the only piece that's missing is a conductor to conduct electricity from point A to that light bulb. So now, once another company or the same company comes along and says, listen, we've created a conductor. There's a way now, this wire or this way, with this, using this particular item or this particular technology or this particular quote-unquote app, we'll be able to conduct electricity from the source to the light bulb. That particular device, that particular company would go up, right? They will go up, and even though on the market sometimes they may go down, yeah, the number could be at 40, just like the HBAR. But the fact that that thing was created, and that's the thing that's going to conduct electricity from point A to point B, it's inevitable for that thing to go up in stock and value. It's just a matter of time. You got to test it. Does it always conduct electricity at any given moment? What about when it rains? What about the snow? What about in this particular environment? So once all the tests has been proven, you can't deny it. It's undeniable. So this is what's going on with HBAR as far as I'm concerned. It's a situation where HBAR is coming to tell you that we are faster than Bitcoin. Ethereum, and credit cards. We are more secure than Bitcoin, Ethereum, and credit cards. We are we are more fair, meaning there's no room for cheating, like double spending and all these other things, right? There is no room for a 51% attack nor a 34% attack. 34% attack. There is no room for that. Sorry. In these type of situations, security is very important. And if HBAR is coming to, you know, to fit the bill, like to be that device or that technology that's gonna make it happen, then it's inevitable. We just have to be patient with it, and we just have to follow up what's going on. Now, on the daily basis, you could always day trade, right? Because there's no one coin that stays at one number all day. You know, there's 24 hours in a day. There's no one stock that stays at a number all day, right? It goes up and down or it floats. Now, depending on how high and low it floats, you know, you could always sell and buy. You can sell in the morning and buy at night, vice versa, right? Depending on where you are in your trading. So now, you also have other coins that will come along with promises, but and they will have a lot of hype around it. Not to speak bad about the AKOIN, but the AKOIN to me is one of those that's coming. You know, it's powered by the marketplace. It doesn't have its own blockchain. You know, so basically it's an app, right? And from what I'm understanding so far, when I read it, it's basically an app, an application that's gonna allow people to connect with the continent to doing business, right? That makes sense, and it's powered by the market. But this is not so. This is an example of the light bulb again. The AKOIN is like a light bulb. The light bulb that came in, but you still need a conductor to conduct electricity from the source to the light bulb. The idea of an AKOIN is great. You know, to allow entrepreneurs to connect, network, to do business with the continent without a middleman or with a middleman. It doesn't matter, but it's going to make it that much easier. Okay, and it's going up in value. You can see when you type in the AKOIN, it went up in value, and it's gonna go up in value. And plus, you have, you got Akon, the artist, the humanitarian, the philanthropist involved with it. So of course, it's gonna go up in value. But again, these type of coins, you can buy it for the hype and make money for the hype, right? But eventually, to me, it looks like it's one of those coins that will come right back down. Why? Because maybe there's not all the pieces in order for it to grow, right? Or it might not be the best app to do that. There's gonna be another app that's gonna come that's gonna be probably making it even easier for people to connect with the continent. So when we are not talking about the foundational stage or the foundational element of this technology, then any coin can come and claim to do certain things, and then we'll just buy in, lose money, and then we can cry out, "Oh, it was a scam! It was a scam!" But it wasn't a scam. The idea makes sense, know. Just like I can take another one that I had that never made me any money. It's called Car Vertical, right? Car Vertical came and promised that they were gonna do one registry for the whole world. You know, when you buy a car, maybe your car came from Germany or came from Africa, vice versa. Or you came from here, you bought it in Africa, you bought it for your grandmother, a Mercedes, a nice Mercedes, but you don't know the history because then the history of the car could be hidden, right? Maybe you got into an accident real quick, but got repaired. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't look like anything is wrong with it, and plus the documentation doesn't show that got into an accident. So now you pass it to your grandmother. We already know the rest. What can happen, right? But if there was one registry for the whole world, everything being registered on the blockchain, the information cannot be changed. If you buy a car here, you send it to Africa, vice versa. You buy a car in China, you send it to America, or buy a car in America, send it to China. The history follows, right? as you pass it. We're dealing with smart contracts. You can't change the information. The only way to reverse the information is selling the back or passing the information back, right? And again, I don't really like the idea of calling this cryptocurrencies because it becomes tricky. When I'm thinking of currency, you're thinking of fiat money, paper, passing the money, currency like that, right? In this case, what we're talking about is crypto value. Should be called crypto value and not cryptocurrency, because whenever you're making a transaction, what you're passing is actually a value. It could be attached to a house, to a property, to another property, to a land, to anything, right? But it's the value that you passing. It's not actually money that you passing. So, I just feel like the word cryptocurrency is a little tricky. It should be crypto value. But who am I to decide what we should call it? But for me to explain it to you, we have to go with the concept of a crypto value. It's a value that you pass in. Whenever we try to understand what Bitcoin is, the coin, not the technology, not the distributed ledger technology, but the crypto, the coin, the app, the thing that was created on that, right? It should be crypto value because it's a value that you're passing on. It's not money. It's like value. It's something valuable that you're passing on by smart contract. So now, with that said, let me move along. Where am I moving to? I'm not moving nowhere. I'm staying with the HBAR because that's where all my money is. So now, whenever we're trying to understand why is HBAR low, if it's the next one to come in correct, security, fairness, and speed, why is it low on the market? Why is he going even lower? Of course, what had happened was it was the second year anniversary, and so the hype, quote unquote, was built around that. So he went up in value. I'm guessing. I'm assuming it went up in value. Right after the second year celebration, I bet all on it. I went all in. I'm expecting it to go up in value, skyrocket to the moon. But that's not what we saw. What we saw is that it came down in value, and it keeps coming down in value. So with that said, again, I could panic. I can brood and moan about it, or I can realize other people that came before me, what strategies were they using in this type of situation, and I quote it or paraphrase Robert Kawasaki. Again, I hope I'm not butchering his name, but is the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. His strategy when it comes to cryptocurrency is buying more as it goes down. As long as you understand that particular crypto that you're buying, you understand the essence of it, you understand what it brings to the table. Now, we understand what HBAR brings to the table. Three things: speed, fairness, and security. That's enough for me to be patient. As a matter of fact, I'm throwing in some more money on the daily basis, and also day trading. So, with that said, let me move to the situation of Hong Kong. And before I jump into that, I wanted to play a video of one of the YouTubers. He's been living in China for over 10 years. And I guess, I don't know what qualifies somebody to be considered a local. But if you lived in China for 10 years, you're married to a Chinese woman, again, my immediate question before I even play it is, does that allow someone, because he is married to a race or to a culture, to then speak against that particular culture? I mean, based on the fact that he is married, within that culture. So if I was to marry a white girl, then does that give me the right to speak against white people? But in this situation, the answer is yes, because we already have that back and forth discussions among blacks and white. But we found a middle ground. But so does that give someone the right, though, because you are married into a culture, and then all of a sudden you're justifying you're speaking against a culture based on the fact that you are married married with someone of that culture. Because when it comes to me, when it comes to the relationship, I think sometimes we are attracted to one culture or the other based on our, I think, sexual need, I would say, because a lot of time when someone is, let's say, is addicted to porn or anything like that, it's one particular porn that you'll be addicted to. Like when it comes to me, I'm into Asian. Whenever I do, watch porn, I don't do it no more. But whenever I did, I may do it now too. But I'm saying though, you pick and choose. Like, I might be into Asian porn. Does that mean because I like Asa Akira, she's Japanese, so all of a sudden, when I go to Japan and get myself a Japanese wife, is it because of the culture or is it because I'm attracted to Asa Akira, right? Because she's Japanese, I'm like, oh, okay. Then I may feel attracted to the Japanese women. But your attractiveness to a woman does not equate, your right to speak against a culture. I don't think so. But hey, let's jump into China and see what's really going on with China. Let me go right ahead and do this. Let me go right ahead and do this. And we can talk about it. Man, once again, I hope everybody can hear it though. I hope everybody can hear it. Let me see. Let me share this screen. Please tell me if you can hear it. If you can't hear it, then I'll change the way I'm muting. Because I gotta mute one screen. I can't play both of them. I can't play both of them. Let me go here.
Against the Communist Party of China, and I have some solutions. What good is it pointing out the problems with the Communist Party of China and the dangers of the Communist Party of China and the dangers of what China is doing?
Can you guys
to the
hear it,
world
or should
right
I
now
rewind it?
if I can't offer some solutions in return? Because there's no point moaning about something all the time.
All right,
or
thank you.
complaining
You're
about
broke.
something unless
23, man.
you
Shout out
have
to
a
you,
way
man.
to fix it or change it. Of course, there is a lot of merit to talking about the missteps and the bad policies and the bad things that are going on in China, because it raises awareness. And by raising awareness, hopefully the right person sees that and starts to take action, or your eyes get opened up and you start to realize, hang on a second, something's been happening, something sinister has been happening under my nose this entire time. So of course there's a benefit to it, but I am here to offer you some solutions today. A lot of people don't realize just how much they are contributing to the success of the Communist Party of China. Now, there's nothing wrong with contributing to the success of the people of China. I love the people of China. I'm married to a Chinese person. I have Chinese family. I want nothing but the best for the people of China. But unfortunately, what we're seeing is a growing power within the Communist Party of China. And the Communist Party of China is a threat to the entire world. I'm not fear-mongering here. I'm telling the truth. The Communist Party of China is a threat to the very freedoms that you have enjoyed up until this point in life, or perhaps the very freedoms you've been seeking up until this point in life. Just take a look around you. Have you noticed how our entertainment industry has been changed by the Communist Party of China? How films have to change their narratives to suit their needs? How sports have to be silent about human rights atrocities, sports stars and things. You mention anything about Tibet or Xinjiang or that, and you get shut, and you're...
Yeah, I wanted to pause that and to kind of agree though that I noticed that in China there was a lot of people that had Canadian citizenship, but they had to renounce it in order to be in China, right? Like you gotta pick and choose. So you gotta let go of your Canadian citizenship, because you see Canada is one of those countries where you don't really want to drop your passport, right? But it comes a time now, China is like, okay, aren't you making more money with us? If you're making more money with Canada, then there's no need for you to be here. And so a lot of the actors, yeah, they drop their flags, they drop off the Canadian citizenship, and then just pick up the Chinese one. So yeah, I've seen that going on. But then again, if you're making more money with your own people, and the only condition for you to stay here, make money with your own people, what do you need another passport for, right? You know, but then again, that's something that's debatable. But I'm like, okay, well, if I was, if there was a place for me where I could feel like I belong, and then my opportunities there were bigger than anywhere else in the world, and the condition was like, okay, you're welcome home, you're home, but leave that passport alone. That's the way to look at it.
NBA or whoever it is that you play for.
You shut down? You closing now?
Or will kick you out or silence you or make you apologize to China. It's really shaping the narrative of free speech around the world. Heck, look at the COVID situation right now. This is something that came about because of the Communist Party of China and the way it dealt with the pandemic in the early days, allowing it to spread without giving warning to the rest of the world when it very well knew that it had human-to-human transmission. They told everyone it didn't when they knew it did. They blocked people from traveling domestically in and out of Wuhan. They locked it down, but they allowed people to travel internationally, and the virus spread from China. So all the restrictions, all the jobs lost, all the lives lost up until now can be squarely pointed at the Communist Party of China. Make no mistake, their missteps led to the current situation. There are many aspects around the world, climate change, because of the huge amount of carbon that CO2 that China is pumping out into the atmosphere. The fact that they keep increasing their carbon emissions year upon year rather than reducing them like the rest of the world. The fact that the environment and the seas are being outfished is affecting you and will affect you in many ways. The fact that real estate around the world has been ramped up to extremes because of corrupt Chinese officials investing all their money and funneling all their money out of China into Canada, the United States, Australia, etc. The fact that our universities kowtow to the Communist Party of China. The fact that you've got Confucius Institutes and other Chinese communist propaganda departments operating from within our universities, not only to the detriment of the Chinese students studying there, but of course to the detriment of all students studying there. Look, there's a lot that the Communist Party of China has been doing. And one of the biggest, most worrying factors is they've been taking investment money from things like pension funds and using that money to develop their military. Your pension fund very possibly has contributed to building missiles, their military technology, which has armed the Communist Party of China, made it stronger, and made it this terrible belligerent bully, building all these false islands in the South China Sea, claiming land that doesn't belong to them, expanding everywhere, doing all this expansionism, this neo-colonialism into Africa, all sorts of things. Look, the Communist Party of China has affected every single person, whether you think they have or not. And you're helping them. Most people are helping them, either through ignorance, which of course you can't blame people for not realizing it, or through kind of a willful dismissal of what's really going on. The problem is it's getting to a point now where it's very hard to ignore what the Communist Party of China is doing to the world and to our way of life. So here are some solutions for you. You as an individual might not think that you really have much recourse when it comes to the Communist Party of China, but you support them more than you know, and you support them through your...
Yes. I wanted to mention, like, we gotta pay attention to this part. My man here says he has nothing against the Chinese. He's married to one, but we must stop China from growing. Now, here's his solution, and then I'm gonna go ahead and talk a little bit more. Here's the solution that he has on how we can stop. But before I even jump into that, my thing is, why are we trying to stop China again? Like, what is it? What's the purpose of us trying to stop China? Like, and once we stop China, then are we stopping China for the rest of the world, or are we stopping China for one particular country? what are we doing? Like, what's the purpose of us going against China, right? Because remember, this is a race, like the world race, right? 10 people racing, and one person is ahead, and we're like, no, we gotta slow down that person. So do we then make a phone call and say, listen, that guy's gonna make a turn, make sure he bleeds over there, or his toenail, something happens to him, so we can surpass and pass him and get to the finish line. But are we doing that for the rest of the 9 people that's racing, or are we slowing one person down for one particular person to win? Because at the end of the day, one person alone can win, right? But China is ahead right now, and then we want to stop it from growing, but to the benefit of whom though? Like, is there one particular person that we are fighting China for? All right, let's go.
Your hard-earned money. Okay? Think about it. How does that work? Well, every single time you invest in a Chinese company, every single time you buy a Chinese product on Amazon or in the shop, that money goes back to China. It goes back to a Chinese company, which in turn goes back to the Chinese economy, which in turn goes to the CCP. Remember, the CCP controls all companies in China. They have to kowtow to the Communist Party of China. The Communist Party of China also plays very unfairly. They make it so that the products made in China will be cheaper no matter what than your locally produced product. So they force out jobs. They force out manufacturing from different countries. And the way they do this is through a lot of sleight of hand and a lot of tricks, the foremost of which being that they claim to be a developing country. Now, yeah, I mean, I've traveled all around China by motorcycle. I've been in the most rural parts of China. I've been in the flashiest parts of China. And I would classify China as a developing country as soon as you leave the cities. Hey, look, even in the cities themselves, you still see a lot of very backwards ways of dealing with certain things like garbage removal, things like the sewers, things like, well, just the way infrastructure is kind of dealt with. There's a lot of backwards stuff. But you hit the rural parts of China, and yes, it's a developing country. You still have a huge amount of the population that's very poor. However, what kind of a developing country? I mean, think about it. When you think of a developing country, what comes to mind? For me, it's usually something like a country.
Listen, before I even play this guy, okay, I'm gonna rewind it a little bit for those I didn't hear what this guy's where this guy's coming with. Where is this guy's coming from and what he's coming with? So here's the guy who lived in China 10 years. He knows everything about China, married to a Chinese wife, and then he feels like, okay, I'm in a position to talk and say whatever I want to say about China, not because I hate them, otherwise I wouldn't have married a Chinese. Okay, cool. Now, the complaint that we have right now is the fact that, China claims to be a developing country, right? And he shouldn't, basically, is what my man is saying. Like, he shouldn't consider itself a developing country because he's gonna give you all kinds of reason, right? Because China is sending missiles and people to the moon and going on Mars and experimenting and things of that nature, right? But my question to that would be, who decides who's ready for anything, right? And giving you an example of an athlete. Now, let's say you want to practice your aim, to play certain sports. You want to be better at it. So you practice it in the gym. You're young, and then there's a scout that comes in. Is like, man, I think you're ready for the league, right? So they already approve with what you are doing. You are ready for the league, right? For the standard of the league, it's enough. You are ready. So it's up to you to just go there. But you are saying, I don't know. I want to be ambidextrous. I want to be good with my both hands. So I'm gonna practice my left hand. If I'm right-handed, I want to practice my left hand. If I'm left-handed, I want to practice my right. So you keep practicing and practicing and practicing until you feel that you're ready. Once you feel that you're ready, then you feel that you're ready to go and conquer the league, right? So now, again, this is what I'm saying. If China is ahead of everybody, this is a race. China is ahead. But China considers himself to be a developing country because in China's standard, going to the moon is nothing, right? just like an athlete doing backflips would be nothing, right? Maybe you want to do four, five, six backflips and then jump up on the roof. That's sufficient for you. So again, are we the one judging China to say that, oh, China, now you shouldn't be considered a developing country because you're doing more than we doing, right? So are this so my thing is the standard of one person the same as the other? Meaning, what's satisfying to me, is it also satisfying to you? Like I'm the one deciding when I'm ready, or do I feel ready because you said, okay, I'm good enough for the league? I understand that I'm good to go. Whenever I'm ready to go, now I'm ready because you already told me that I was ready, but I don't feel ready. I need to develop more. Is something wrong with that? Is there something wrong with China trying to develop more, going to Mars? Why not go to Saturn? Maybe when they go to Saturn, that's when they will feel like, okay, now we're ready, we're fully developed. Is that okay for a country to decide when they feel developed or not developed? Or if I follow that same rabbit hole, you mentioned something about Africa. Like for him, a developing country would be one that's still missing water. There's no infrastructure, no public toilet, and things of that nature. Them, they can consider themselves um, uh, still developing. But again, that makes sense. But if we compare it to a situation where I see here in Hong Kong a lot of people walking around with slippers, right? They don't wear no. You see, I'm wearing a Lacoste shirt. No, I seen people not wearing a Lacoste shirt. No fancy hat, nothing like that. But they own blocks, right? They own blocks. They own property somewhere. They own blocks. They own property somewhere. So with that said, is it because it appears that China is fully developed, so therefore we should just say, okay, you fully developed because you're more developed than this other country that appears to not be developed, so they should claim, the country that doesn't look developed should claim they're not developed, and the one that's coming to your face and saying, listen, we're doing this, we're doing that, but our standard, it's more than that. Yes, we're going to the Mars, yes, we have all this, yes, economically we're ahead of the game, but we feel like we need more in order to accomplish what we want to accomplish. Is there something wrong with that? Now, I'm going to conclude with this. Let's look at a situation where, whenever I fly back to Canada, I still see people standing outside of a subway begging for change. And when I look at who's begging, I see that, oh, this guy got blonde hair, blue eyes, he's cool, or a handsome black man, if he took a shower, it would be good, or a handsome Asian dude, if he took a shower, it would be good. A handsome white man, if he took a shower, he'd be good, right? And yet that person is outside begging for money. So then if you look at the thing that, okay, he can walk, he can talk, he's speaking better English that I'm speaking, he's using better words that I'm using, but yet he's begging for money, so I shouldn't help him because I feel like, to my standard, this person is functional, he should get a job, he should get two jobs, because to my standard he's qualified. So therefore you shouldn't be a bum begging for money, and or you can go ahead and beg for money, but I will not give you my money. Is that fair to say? Now, mind you, ever since I've been to Asia, whenever I go back to Canada, I actually don't donate to people asking me money, begging money, because for that same reason, because they're fully prepared for the workforce. They speak English, both arms work, and so, I'll go back to Canada and be like, nah, I'm not giving you. I don't feel a way, like we say. I don't feel a way for not giving a dime to somebody begging for money, but I can see that there's nothing wrong with the person, the individual, according to my standard. Now, is this the same scale that this man here is judging China by? China sends people to the moon. China sends people to Mars, and they economically advance. So therefore, we should not allow them to be considered a developing country because we judge that that's enough, or is China is the one to judge that it's enough? Again, maybe they want to go to Mars. I mean, to Saturn. They haven't been there yet, right? Maybe today's standard, in order for them to declare that they are developed, they wanna do more. Okay, let me continue playing my man here.
In Africa or the Middle East, where people are struggling to get water, where there isn't enough infrastructure built there, where they need help, they need aid, they need as much help as they can get because they are still developing. That's a developing country. China is sending probes to the moon. They are sending rovers to Mars. They have a space program. It's about time we canceled this whole idea of China being a developing country, because they claim that they're a developing country, and this gives them massive tax breaks. This gives them massively preferential trade agreements with the rest of the world in the WTO. So they don't pay taxes, they don't pay high shipping fees, they get all sorts of subsidies, the government also subsidizes, and they cheat the system. So that's why it's cheaper, and I've said this many times, for somebody in Shenzhen, in mainland China, to send a little widget, it doesn't matter what it is, a tiny little gadget that costs $1. Send it to your door with free shipping. I cannot send something that costs $1 to my neighbor for free shipping. Everything I send costs me money, and so they have this very unfair advantage, and they kick everyone else out of the competition.
Okay,
So,
okay.
of course,
Let me
let's
pause
move
that.
on
Let me
from
pause that real
How can you
quick.
combat this? Well, there's a couple of things.
Did you hear what my man said? My man said China is at an unfair advantage. That it's unfair that China should be number one. This is what the man said. Let me rewind it so that we agree that that's exactly what my man said.
Free shipping. I cannot send something that costs $1 to my neighbor for free shipping. Everything I send costs me money, and so they have this very unfair advantage, and they kick everyone else out of the competition. Why? It's cheaper, and I've said this many times, for somebody in Shenzhen, in mainland China, to send a little widget, it doesn't matter what it is, a tiny little gadget that costs $1. Send it to your door with free shipping. I cannot send something that costs $1 to my neighbor for free shipping. Everything I send costs me money, and so they have this very unfair advantage. It's very unfair advantage. It's very unfair advantage. It's very unfair advantage, and they kick. It's very unfair advantage, and they kick everyone else out of the competition.
Okay, they're kicking everybody else out of the competition. They are advanced. Let me borrow the ideology of Dr. Claude Anderson. When Dr. Claude Anderson said, "This is a race." That's what racism is. It's a race where everybody's racing, yeah? So everybody's racing, and whoever gets to the finish line wins the race. That's what a racist is someone who races. So China is racing against everybody else, but now we look at it like, no, okay, China is ahead, so let's slow them down. Yeah, which is fair. Okay, let's slow China down. But again, why are we slowing China down again? Like, what's the reason that we're slowing it down? Like, this is what I'm trying to understand. Why are we trying to slow it down? Like, this is a race. Again, let me repeat. You have a race, everybody racing, 10 people racing, and one is ahead. And you look at it like, oh, he's too far, he's going to win. So let me try to catch up or slow him down so I can catch up. Okay, fine. So you want to slow China down so you can catch up. All right. So who do you want to win the race? What country would you like to win the race? All right, let's continue here.
So, of course, let's move on from that. How can you combat this? Well, there's a couple of things. And I'm going to start with the one that probably every single person can do. Every one of you can do this. And that is when you're shopping on Amazon, to make the right choices. You see, Amazon, like any other big corporation, it's all about their bottom line. How much money can they make? How much profit can they make? So, they tend to push to the top the cheapest, easiest to manufacture products. And a lot of the Amazon Choice products that pop up there, or, the Spotlight promoted ones, etc., are usually some kind of cheap Chinese product. But because we see the Amazon logo on there, or say it's a Prime, product or whatever, we tend to think it's probably pretty good and just buy it anyway. Well, That's not always the best thing to do. And also remember, Chinese sellers are very good at artificially boosting their products. They have recently closed how many fake accounts? They've got bot farms that go out there and give fake reviews, boost things to the top, take other products, which are the competition of that product, and downvote them and give them fake bad reviews. It's a very unscrupulous kind of a situation. Most Chinese sellers are doing something dodgy in one way or the other. And this is well documented. There have been many crackdowns. It's something you can look at. But Amazon is very clever, and they're very good at hiding where these products are manufactured or where the sellers come from. So when you're buying something on Amazon, it just looks like every other product that you're looking for. You wouldn't be able to tell if it's American made or made in Singapore or made in Taiwan or made in China or whatever. You wouldn't know. It's just, there it is. It's got the product name, might say in the description somewhere, but it's just very difficult to tell. There's a browser plugin which I'll introduce you and show you how to work near the end of the video, which can help you figure out if you're buying from China or not. I understand that it is tough. We've reached a point now where the majority of products in the world, especially smaller, cheaper little electronics, USB cables, things like that, are more figure out if you're buying from China or not. I understand that it is tough. We've reached a point now where the majority of products in the world, especially smaller, cheaper little electronics, USB cables, things like that, are more or less exclusively made in China. But you can take a look, because if the brand is an American brand or a French brand or a different kind of brand that is getting their product manufactured in China, it's still the better of two evils. It's exclusively made in China, but you can take a look, because if the brand is an American brand or a French brand or a different kind of brand that is getting their product manufactured in China, it's still the better of you can take a look, because if the brand is an American brand or a French brand or a different kind of brand that is getting their product manufactured in China, it's still the better of two evils, because that means end of the video, which can help you figure out if you're buying from China or not. I understand that it is tough. We've reached a point now where the majority of products in the world, especially smaller, cheaper little electronics, USB cables, things like that, are more or less exclusively made in China. But you can take a look, because if the brand is an American brand or a French brand or a different kind of brand that is getting their product manufactured in China, it's still the better of two evils, because that